Hey everybody, it's Ashley Ray from letstalkraystyle.com bringing you another video for my latest blog titled In the Company of Others. Now before I get into the blog, I just want to catch you all up on my week. Last weekend. So last weekend, I was able to attend the 64th annual Fight for Freedom Fund dinner by the NAACP. I got to meet and greet with, some of our politicians here in Detroit. That was pretty cool. And I got to hear and see the fabulous April Ryan. I was really excited for that. She's one of my favorite reporters. And we also had Derby Detroit here, which is supposed to be comparable to the Kentucky Derby. I just had a busy weekend, but it was fun. It was all socializing, but networking at the same time. So I think that was a success. All right, so let's get right into this vlog. In the Company of Others. So I don't know if any of you have ever worked somewhere where Black people are the minority, right? And so when you're in a situation like that, you kind of have to be aware. You do have to be aware of the things that you say and do, because you don't know, how it's perceived to others. So listen, my coworker and I are talking about bands here in Detroit. And so I mentioned this school called Pershing. And I was like, yeah, Pershing, I love Pershing. Their mascot is the Doughboys. So they call the girls the Dough Girls, Doughboys, Dough Girls. They have a really strong alumni. Back in my day, they were really doing stuff, So he and I are having this conversation, but it's a table of maybe 10 other people, and we are the only two Black people. So he starts, and he's one of those people who, he's a know-it-all. If you're watching this, you are a know-it-all. You know that you're a know-it-all. So anyway, he's like, oh, nah, they turned the Doughboys and the Dough Girls into drug dealers and gangs, and just saying all of this stereotypical shit that we as in Black people don't need to say around white people. And I just stopped talking, altogether, in an effort to think, maybe he would stop talking about it. But he just went on and on. But there was also a time, a coworker of mine, a lot of my coworkers actually were having a discussion about Russell Wilson and Ciara. And he started to say, and he has a very loud voice, Black people don't like Russell Wilson because they don't think he's Black enough. Now, personally, I have never heard that. I actually don't even know a single person who's ever said that they did not like Russell Wilson. That's one. Two, I'm not saying that that's not true. There may be Black people who feel like he's not Black enough, and therefore they don't like him, but I don't know anyone who said that. However, he said this again in a room full of white people. Why do you think people other than Black people need to know that there are even categories and issues within the Black community based off of things like that? That's not anyone's business but the people that it directly involves and affects, and that is Black communities. So it's just really? Really, you guys don't know this? We are the representation. This is not their business. I had to jump in the conversation and say, this is inappropriate and we won't be having it at work. And another one of my coworkers who is not Black said, well, all of our conversations are inappropriate, pretty much, that we have. And I said, but this one we won't be having. Not in here. She wanted to know what he was talking about. She wanted him to go more into detail. And I just was not having it. And he stopped talking when I said that, that's inappropriate. But it's just why would you be discussing that around outsiders? Why would you be discussing this topic around people that already have derogatory thoughts and feelings about Black people. Whew. When we have conversations like that in front of people that are not Black, that opens the forum for someone to join the conversation and say something ignorant or offensive, which usually it's one and the same. So you can't just go around saying whatever. I don't care if it was true or not. That's a conversation that, you have amongst yourself. You don't have that amongst yourselves. You don't have that conversation in front of people who cannot relate to the culture, to the plight, etc. And then at the same time, that's perpetuating stereotypes and what people already think and perceive about Black people and Black communities anyway. So I wanted to make this video because I just needed to let people know that those are things that you never want to acknowledge, discuss, give examples of any type of stereotype when it comes to Black people around people that are not Black. They don't have to be white people, just period. Just people that are not Black, because you are opening the floodgates for them to ask questions and say things that are ignorant, racist, offensive. And so I thought that due to the age group that he and I are both in, that was something that he was well aware of, but apparently not. So I figured that I would make this blog and this video. We have to be more careful. We have to protect the little space that we have, even though it's not our space. But at the end of the day, you are the representative for Black people. And even though that's not fair, but when you're in a particular setting and you're the only Black people, you represent all Black people at that moment. If you did not know, now you do. Let's be careful of what we say. Be conscious of who's around us. Be conscious of the things that come out of your mouth. Be conscious of what other people say, because a lot of times people say things, non-Black people say things that are actually racist or racial biases, and they don't even realize what they say, is actually, or what they've said is actually offensive. All right. So just keep those things in mind. Don't forget to visit the blog, letstalkracestyle.com. And you can select a category or just click through, browse through, scroll through, buy a book, a shirt, whatever you want to do, or just read some articles. You can also subscribe to this channel. You can subscribe to my blog. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Let's Talk Race Style, and on Twitter, Ashley Ray Brand. Smooches.